Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 13 of my personal Figuary journal self critique video. Still catching up with the other Figuary videos, it might take a little while longer, but if you want to see the sketches that I do on the daily following Figuary, be sure to follow my Instagram, Imaginary Dreams at 95. Of course, full credits to the people who are actually creating this Figuary event, Love Life Drawing, who teaches and gives tips about figure drawing, and then CroquisCafe, who provides the models to pose every single day during Figuary. Without further ado, from my memory, this sets of poses were also quite a challenge for me, quite uncommon poses, I think, to my past experience. But with that said, with unique poses comes more lessons to learn. And so, with the first pose, you have this sort of strong woman, once again very muscular, and it's just pulling out those two arms and then grabbing the handlebar. Made her very buffed and just have no idea how to measure any of the arms. And I'm starting to see a pattern now with sort of my legs where I would draw the upper legs maybe too long, and then I would have no space for the knees and then down below. It a little bit too small, but I think there were bigger problems with sort of the measurements again with the upper legs and then this very muscular pose on the arms. So not a great start, but I said very difficult pose in my opinion. And so the next pose is a little bit more standard. We have sort of this very sort of smooth straight line down and then a very dynamic pose on the other side. Now I did a little bit better, but what I really failed to do is to measure like the angle of the waist and back. Here it's much more straight down, and then because of this hand blocking our way, we can see based on this side here where the body is actually twisting forward, showing more. If this hand wasn't in the way, then we would be able to see her, all of it there. Sorry about that. A small lag in Photoshop, but even so, and I can now clearly see that even this sort of butt is a little bit forward than the actual hand. Hand is a little bit longer down, so it should be down here as well. Even sort of to place the shoulder here and allow it to flow down would make it more natural. Here it's a little bit too far forward, and thus it's not in the correct position. Kind of feel a little bit happier with the way I angle this head in particular. My past sketches wouldn't have too accurate angles on the head, and then the legs sort of flow down quite okay based on the pose, but still kind of cutting the lower knee and making it a little bit too short. Arm at the back coming a little bit much more than just straight down. It needs to come out in an angle. So small improvements, but can do a little bit better. Next pose. Here she's showing her back. First thing, definitely regret not giving enough space for her arms really stretching out. But here her head again is a little bit angled. Not as good as the previous one, but still has sort of the same idea of like her head is twisting, and then we have this very clear line, so try to indicate that she's turning her head backwards, and then a very nice smooth line on the back. But still there's a little bit of a twist where the bottom area of the waist is showing much more, and then she's twisting her body to show much less at the back side here. And here is a little bit more flat and a little bit more even throughout, when again this top side, the shoulder should maybe be around here, instead showing much less than before. This leg, again, not enough on the lower angle should be a little bit longer, and because the leg is placed here, I was forced to put the other leg that is in front much lower than it's supposed to be. If it's lower, then this can also come lower and be more accurate at that point. Next pose, she's sort of laying down, and the first thing that I sort of notice is how this shoulder just connects with her head, so try to sort of follow that along as the baseline. Made the front leg maybe a little bit too thick, and could be a little bit better if it's sort of this way, since it's a curve forward down here. But this sketch is sort of getting slightly better than the previous one, slowly working at it, and I don't think there's too much to say on it. Next pose here, she is sort of lying down, and it's a more smooth on one side and then a little bit more dynamic on the other side, and that's really nice. And this hand is obviously coming forward towards us, so thinking like a cylinder, but this hand has to be much bigger, even though her forearms isn't seen as much. Here her head is looking towards us, but then I sort of made it look up towards the right hand side, which is not so good. But as I said about this sort of angling and curving, I think I did a decent job at it, exaggerating sort of the features a little bit more than before. Legs still a little bit longer than the previous sketches, but maybe not long enough, since this is a little bit more stretched out, while this is a little bit more bent over. So small improvements compared to the previous poses. Now next pose, this just went absolute down the drain after the last one. And this was the 5-minute one with most time. Heads too small, legs being too short. Now it's just way too long, just going to the moon, because this leg is too long, and we measured that there's this knee and the other leg need to come like below the knee. This one had to just go up and over beyond everything. Body's too long. Oh my god, what a disaster this sketch was. Absolutely horrific. Let me turn that off. Let's go back to the previous one. Let's just leave it at that, and I'll give you straight to the outro. Gotta go wash my eyes with water and alcohol and soap and all that shit. But I'm hoping maybe I'll need to check. But next sketch, day 14, would be better. And I'll end it right here. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.